U.S. President Donald Trump heralded a new era of diplomacy, saying he prefers deal-making to war. As such, diplomatic efforts are now underway to prevent Iran from attaining a nuclear weapon, but we're also seeing unilateral diplomacy at work from countries such as the UK, Canada, and France. But is diplomacy really the right way forward in the Middle East, or are these efforts actually harming the long-term security of the region? Joining us now to discuss is Dr. Gerald Steinberg of NGO Monitor. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
So diplomacy seems to be the name of the game these days. Let's start with a new report that came out just today that the Trump administration has asked Israel to delay the start of the Gaza operation to allow even more time for hostage negotiations, which have been stalled for some time now after Hamas rejected the last American proposal. So maybe you can explain this to us. Why delay yet again? Hamas is clearly taking advantage with each delay. What happened to all hell will break loose?
I don't trust many of these reports because they are usually leaked or provided by people who have an interest. They have skin in the game. They're trying to either prevent military action, in this case, prevent Israel from going further into Gaza and doing more to uproot the Hamas capabilities, the infrastructure, the remaining tunnels, all the missiles and rockets that are still there. They may be trying to avoid an Israeli strike against the Iranian nuclear facilities, or they may be trying to tilt it the other way in other types of leaks and reports. I think we have to be, in this case, and it's hard to do, to be patient and to see how things develop.
So you mentioned the UK, France, and Canadian endeavors, Western allies of Israel who are, morally posturing here when some of them should really be hanging their heads in shame at the history of their own countries and the current state in their own countries. How much of a threat or an impact will their unilateral initiatives have on Israel?
Well, these initiatives, whether it's the demand that Israel stop its military action and help the Palestinians, reinforces this image of Palestinian victimhood. It's a slogan or an image. It's been around since 1948. Palestinians are incapable of helping themselves. They're only victims. There is no terrorism that can be stopped by strong military action. Those are slogans that we hear repeated over and over again. Some of that is posturing, as you said, posturing for domestic political purposes, the large Muslim populations and the fear of terrorism. And some of it is, I think, a very simplistic, okay, I'll drop the academic line, I'll say naive embrace of these kinds of slogans that Palestinians are victims and we have to help the victims. We also hear from them very often this line. I hear it also from a small group of Israelis quite frequently. Israel can always take military action if Hamas takes power again, if there's another threat. That's exactly what they said in 1995 or 1993 during the Oslo framework. Israel will withdraw, and then Israel will be able to move and take military action. Again, in 2005, 10 years later, when Israel unilaterally withdrew from all of Gaza. And again, we heard this phrase, well, if the Hamas takes over, if Gaza becomes a major threat of terrorist action, then Israel can easily crush that with its overwhelming military power. That's all a myth, and it needs to be confronted. I don't think that the heads of government in France and the UK and also in France, the UK, and Canada are paying attention to the reality on the ground. They're repeating the same slogans over and over again. And so I don't think that Israel confronting them will make much of a difference. I think Israel has to decide, the Israeli government, not just the prime minister, but together, and lead the Israeli consensus into taking action that will serve Israeli security. And we'll have to deal with the diplomatic fallout as it happens.
All right, Dr. Gerald Steinberg, thank you so much for your analysis today.
Good. Happy to be with you.